Okay, I'm sitting here this morning thinking again, and I was wondering where to continue at, and I guess what I'll say is, back when I was living in Florida with my mom for 8 months, I had been talking to my daughter who lives in Texas. And while in the mental hospital there, and I was telling her how bad it was, because while I was staying there, the one time I had to stay a month, and it's a long story, but I tell you what, they abused me in this place, and where I went was Aspire in Orlando, Florida. I was in Aspire, and they put me there for a month. And that term gaslighting, what I was talking about, what they do in there, and it wasn't just to me. I witnessed it for other people too. What they did was gaslight, like they would provoke an outburst from you in order to inject you with God knows what. But anyways, I filed complaints. They were never addressed and whatnot. And yeah, they abused me in that place. And I was telling my daughter about things that were going on, and I'm not quite sure at this point whether she believes me or not, or she thinks I'm mentally ill and I'm just making this stuff up, which I'm not. But at any rate, finally, back in June of 2019, my daughter and her husband and my grandkids, thank God, finally came out to Florida and picked me up. And I've told her this. She saved my life that day she did that. Literally, because I was to the point I didn't know what I was going to do, you know. I had such pressure in my mind, you know, trying to deal with what was going on. And, you know, the whole time talking and letting people know the truth, but they just did not believe me. And anyways, yeah, she saved my life coming to get me. And I moved back to Texas with her in June of 2019. And I stayed with her for 4 months. And they ended up selling their house and whatnot, and they were looking for a place to buy, so she didn't have a home either. So what had happened is, eventually, I think in October of 2019, my older sister came and picked me up and said I could stay with her for a while. So October of 2019, I'm with my sister now, and I stayed with her until December 31st, 2019. She drove me to Houston and dropped me off. And so I was homeless in Houston. And, you know, I can remember right before she dropped me off, I had this, you know, I have guardian angels, I know that. But I had this intuitive message that I wouldn't be on the streets long. I believed it. You know, I didn't know how or what or anything, but I wasn't scared. I was okay, you know, with being homeless. You know, I spent many a year homeless in the UK, but I wasn't alone. But this time I was alone. And you know what's weird is, I looked back at the time 20 years previous when I was staying with her, and I had the 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and Mike called me and I went to the UK because I was scared I was going to be homeless. Well, 20 years later, I ended up homeless anyway, which, you know, from my sister, which, you know, it just like came full circle. So I'm on the streets in Houston, and after knowing that message that I got, that I wouldn't be there long, you know, I didn't know, but I made my way around, and it was on, my daughter had found this place, where I'm at today, and it's just a small 1-person trailer, which I am blessed to have. But, yeah, I was on the streets in Houston, and, the fourth day, on January 4th, I can remember walking by Minute Maid Park. I was trying to find a coffee shop to get a cup of coffee, and, I was by Minute Maid, which made me think of Def Leppard, because I knew they were supposed to, before COVID and all, they were supposed to play there. And so I took a picture of it. But anyways, I made my way to this coffee shop, and I'm sitting having a cup of coffee, and I ended up breaking down right there in the middle of the coffee shop. I just ended up crying, and I was crying and praying at the same time, because I felt so lost. I felt so alone and so lost. I just didn't know what to do. So, I broke down, and finally something said, well, just call that trailer, because, I had the number. So I thought, well, God, I didn't think I could afford the rent or anything. I didn't think I could afford it, so why call it, But anyways, I ended up calling this gentleman that owns this trailer and explained to him I'm on the streets, how much would it cost me to get in? And if everything went okay, could I move in that day? And as it worked out, I called my youngest son, Dylan, and bless his heart, he helped me, him and his wife, Amanda. They gave me $500, and I had the $200 because I'm on benefits, to support myself. And, yeah, so Amanda came down to Houston and picked me up and took me to Hardin, where the trailer is. And I met the gentleman, and funny enough, his last name is the same as my last name. And it's not a street I live on. It's like a little driveway that has a trailer on it or whatever. And the street name is the same as my last name, which I don't like my last name, but it was kind of ironic, I can't change my last name. I don't have the money to do that and whatnot. But anyways, his is the same as mine. And the street I live on, which is not really a street, but it's just a street sign, is the same as my last name. But anyways, I've been here in this trailer since January 4th of 2020, I'm sorry. To January 4th of 2020. So I've been here over a year now, which has been such a blessing. It's really helped me get back to myself, and I don't know what you call it, but it's like decompressing, so to speak, after all I've been through over the 21 years. And, reflecting and trying to heal my broken heart. And I'm going to tell you, ever since that heart swirl thing, which changed my life, I always think, too, back to that August 8th of 2000 when Phil did that to me. He's the one that started this journey thing that I've been on, my life changing and everything. That incident. And then the heart swirl. And then the chemical reaction of me, Joe, and Phil. That's really what changed my whole life, And anyways, I've been here since January 4th of 2020. And I'm off out in the country. I don't have any friends. I don't have a car. I live alone. And so I'm always by myself. My daughter does take me shopping and to the doctors and whatnot. And she lives about 15 minutes from me. But, yeah, so I spend a good chunk of my life, I spend alone. And I have a lot of time to reflect and think and heal, I say heal my broken heart because, all throughout the year last year, this Kundalini sexual interaction, this relationship, intuitive spiritual connection I have with Joe is going on. And I'm trying to deal with the fact of I can't wrap my head around the fact that we're not together. You know, if it's love, you know, what's keeping us apart? Now, I know he's been married. I know he has a couple of kids. You know, I don't have a clue as to what's going on in his life, you know, or anything. I haven't, you know, I'm going all by my own personal experience and what's happening with my body and what I know in my mind and what I know intuitively and what, you know, that's what I'm going by. I've not spoke to him or anything. This is all just spiritual, you know, there's nothing concrete, physical in my face, nothing like that. So, yeah, so the majority of last year, I'm healing. Now, I've wrote stories and things out online and stuff, and it's all out there. Like I said, I've only just recently just started talking. And that's because I'm tired of being in my head about things, you know. I don't have anyone I can talk to. I stopped talking to my daughter and my sister about what's going on in my life because it just created conflict. You know, I was always having to be defensive. So our relationship has gotten better since I stopped talking about what's happening with me. And so, yeah, I'm left dealing with it alone, you know. And yeah, so I'm always in my thoughts. I've cried so much because I've been in so much pain. And I've healed, you know, I've pretty much healed my broken heart. I've come to terms with my past. And I'm trying to understand this relationship with Joe. The Kundalini sexual interaction with us has stopped. And I know why it stopped because, you know, I'm tired of doing that and not having him physically with me, you know. I want a real life, in my face, holding hands, love, you know, relationship. I want a physical connection, you know. I want to try and be normal again. And I don't want, you know, I'm a spiritual person, but I'm more than just a spiritual person. I'm a physical human being, you know. I have a lot of spiritual insight just from personal knowledge now. And personal experience. That's where I've gained all of my knowledge from. And it's a lot. You know, I know a lot of things. And I know I have guardian angels around me, you know. And I know I'm never truly alone. But, you know, I always think life is meant to be shared, you know, and have friends and be able to do things, you know. And I get up in the mornings and I just wonder sometimes, I think to myself, what's the point, you know? What's the point of getting out of bed? There's nothing to do, you know? I can't go nowhere. I got no one to talk to. And I'm just dealing with everything all by myself. And it gets hard, you know? It gets really, really hard. So, like I said, where I'm at, I'm just off out nowhere, and I don't have a car, nothing, and I know my mom and sister have mentioned about getting a job, you know, but there's very, very little where I'm at, and wherever if I went to get a job, I'd have to walk all the way there and walk all the way back, and now being summer in the heat of the summer, and then not knowing if the weather's going to rain or not, you know, it's not feasible at this direct moment in time for me to go out and get a job, you know. And so I spend all my time alone. Yeah, so I don't know what direction my life is going to take. I don't have a clue. You know, I pray all the time, you know, and I'm sort of, asking my guides and my guardian angels, to help me, guide me, give me something to go on, Uh, I know I'm a worthwhile person. I got a lot of love to give. And I'm still trying to understand spiritually what's going on with me, What is the purpose of my life and what direction is my life going in? Because I don't have a clue. I'm ready to go. That's the thing. I'm ready to go. I am free as a bird. I could do anything in the world, but I don't have the money. I can't go buy me a car and buy me a house and be around people. I don't have the capabilities of that. So I'm always, in my mind but like I said, it did help me over the last year. It's helped me decompress over everything that I've been through and come to terms with stuff. And I've healed my heart, I've healed my broken heart. Now, granted, I do get sad and I do have a bit of emotional, ties to the past, and I have my own feelings for my past, and I'm trying to deal with my feelings and stuff. So basically what I'm doing talking is like a therapy for me, I guess, because I don't have nobody to talk to. I don't have nobody to do things with. I don't have any company. I don't have a friend. I don't have any physical contact with people, really. Sometimes I go over to my sister's, but I'm always coming back home and I always spend all my time alone. So yeah, I'm just trying to come to terms with that. All last year, I was getting my head together, and now this year I'm still working on myself, and stuff, and I finally started talking about what I've been writing about. I don't know how that's going to change anything. If it'll change anything, I don't know. But I'm just trying what I think I should do, because I don't have a clue. I'm taking it day by day. So yeah, that's what's going on with me right now at this moment. I do want to talk about a lot of things that happened in the UK and a lot of things that happened in Florida. Like I had these, with the twin flame thing, I had a lot of synchronicities. A lot, and a lot of wild stuff has happened. But anyways, I guess I'll talk about that later.